Hello, I'm Dylan.
And I'm Keon.
This is Trust Your Doctor, that podcast where we only get up off the couch for money, because this week we watched The Fires of Pompeii.
Written by James Moran, or Moran, or however you say that.
Directed by Colin Teague.
And aired on April 12th, 2008. I realized in this episode that we're recording these about 10 years after they aired. Aired. Yeah.
About.
Yeah.
And I think releasing them
also about 10 years afterwards. Like
less about 10 years, but like closer to 10 years.
I mean, when you're dealing with like 10 years, like a week or two doesn't matter that much, but yeah. It's just weird that 2008 was 10 years ago. You know, when someone says 2008, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, but no, it was 10 years ago.
It's even worse when you think of like 2012 and you're like, man, that was last year. No, that was 6 years ago. 2012 was 6 years ago. So anyway, second episode with Donna as a companion. Third episode with Donna in general. First Donna episode not written by Russell T.
And first Donna episode where Donna gets to go on an adventure like somewhere else.
Yeah, so it begins with the Doctor and Donna
and witnesses the destruction of this town and death of 20,000 people.
And helps cause it, but we'll get there. So it begins with them landing in the Roman Empire somewhere. They're not really sure yet.
The Doctor says it's Rome. I guess he maybe just means the Empire, but maybe means the city. I don't know. But it's not the city.
I assume he means the Empire based on the fact that they're in Pompeii.
Well, I don't think they know they're in Pompeii yet. They walk around and they have this scene where they explain the TARDIS translation circuit thing, which they've explained before in the past, but this is actually the most in-depth explanation of it ever, I think.
Yeah.
Because Donna questions why everyone's speaking English and why all the signs are also in English. And she points to a sign, because they're walking down some sort of market street or whatever, and she points to a sign with some, I don't know, stereotypical Greek lettering, like that sort of Greek font that's
in everything, even though this is supposed to be like Rome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, when I think Roman text, I just think of like Times New Roman, the font. And, you know, like just those sort of serif fonts like that. Mm-hmm. Not this this lettering I associate more with like Greek stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, whatever. And the Doctor explains that the TARDIS is translating everything. So she's like, wait a minute, what if I say something in Latin?
Yeah, Donna's like, what if I say Veni Vidi Vici, which is, you know, I came, I saw, I conquered. She's like, my dad always used to say that. The Doctor's like, I don't know, actually. Why do you always have to ask the hard questions? And Donna's like, I'm going to go try it. So she does. She goes up to some dude and it's just like, Veni Vidi Vici. And he's like, I don't speak Celtic. And Donna's like, what does he mean Celtic? And the Doctor's like, Welsh?
Yeah. I mean, Celtic is a language family, not a language, so...
Yeah, well, I
mean, it was like 2,000 years ago, so languages were also different, and some were alive back then that aren't alive now, and vice versa. So, yeah. I mean, just interesting to see that, like, when you... Because this is new, I think, in this episode. They never brought up this point before, that when they say something in another language, it's sort of...
It's translated to another language.
Yeah, and this is something I remember bringing up in Marco Polo when one of the characters from China in that story said cool, and I was like, what? Or it wasn't cool, it was actually some like 60s-ism or something, but
groovy.
Yeah. But yeah, I wondered, like, you know, what the heck was going on there. I guess this explains it, kind of, maybe, possibly.
Right.
But anyway, the Sisterhood of the Flame are snooping around. No, it's actually the Sisterhood of Sibylline.
The Sibylline, yeah. They're like snooping around and they're like, oh, the blue box has arrived. And you're like, what? How do they know about the blue box? And then they're, I don't know. They steal the box. They don't steal the box, actually. The Doctor and Donna go back to find the police box because they realize it's Pompeii. There's the title sequence here right after they realize it's Pompeii.
Yeah, because Donna looks at Mount Vesuvius and she's like, wait, I thought Rome was built on 7 hills, not near one. The Doctor's like, oh God, we're in Pompeii.
And it's Volcano Day.
I don't know why I think they come to realize that because there's like a mini quake and they see some smoke coming out of the volcano.
Yeah, because Donna's like, mountains don't smoke.
They do now. But anyway, they go back to where they left the TARDIS, and it was near some guy's stall, And he sold it
Yeah.
in like the 5 minutes they were gone.
The doctor's like, you sold it? It wasn't even yours. And he's like, yeah, well, I got 15.
It was in my shop.
Yeah, I got 15 coins for it. And the doctor's like, really? Who'd you sell it to? And he's like, oh, that old
The
rich
12th doctor.
dude. Yeah, the old rich dude who lives in that villa over there.
Yeah, this is Caecilius.
Yeah, he's played by Peter Capaldi. Well before he played the Doctor. And they don't just ignore that, by the way. They actually mention it once on the show.
Kind of like how Romana was Princess Astra.
Well, they mentioned that too. She's like, I really liked her.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they'll do the same thing here.
No.
Really liked how Caecilius
I really liked that one Roman dude I saved that one time. Man.
who invented the word volcano, I guess, as you find out at the end. But yeah.
So the Doctor and Donna go to Caecilius' house.
Right, and Donna already wants to go tell everyone to evacuate the city because there's a volcano nearby. The Doctor's like, they don't even know what a volcano is. They wouldn't. This word would just be translated to something completely different or gibberish or something.
Yeah, he explains that right now because she tries to like make reference of it to Caecilius, and he's like, give me 1 second. He pulls her over to the side, and he's like, they don't even know what a volcano is, Donna. Anyway, they both say their name is Spartacus. The Doctor's like, I'm Spartacus, and Donna's like, me too.
So Caecilius thinks they're married, and they're like, no. And he's like, oh, brother and sister, all right. So, I mean, they're really playing up. I mean, I remember last episode, they really played up, like, nope, there's not going to be any romance this time. And I mean, I know that because, I don't know, you've said so, and I've also just spoiled it. But, based on what the show is presenting, really seems as if there is going to be major romance.
Nah, there's not.
But yeah,
I am surprised at how much they're playing up there not being romance, though. I forgot that they did that, and they do it again next week, according to the preview for next week's episode.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
pretty good preview. Anyway, I want to mention the sets of this story because this Caecilius' house it looks really good. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is what wealthy Romans actually. I don't know if this is what like a wealthy Roman household actually looked like.
Yeah,
and probably the people making the show didn't necessarily know either. But yeah, it looks really good, and the Sisterhood's sort of lair also looks really good as well. The town looks pretty good.
The volcano set looks pretty good, in my opinion.
Yeah, it all just, I mean, not just the sets, the CG work in this story was really good too. Mm-hmm. So just an all-around, like, good looking and good sounding too story. I liked the soundtrack, some of the sound effects, as I'll get to later, were a little out of place.
A little on the nose.
But yeah, overall, I mean, solid overall because the story was pretty good too. Not the best, but definitely it's far from the worst.
Definitely enjoyable in my opinion. So the Doctor and Donna are surprised when this other guy shows up, the guy who Caecilius was actually waiting for.
Right, we're introduced to Caecilius' family too. There's his wife, who's not really that important, his son, who also is not really that important, and his daughter, who's like mildly more important than them, who is a seer, I guess, or some sort of prophet, soothsayer. And she's not part of the Sisterhood or the Sibylline, but she is going to become one of them soon. Yeah,
she's like going through the induction process or something like that. Yeah. She has the eyes tattooed on the back of her hand already, so there's really no going back at that point. Once they're on, they're not coming off, not in ancient Rome.
Yeah, and they do this thing, the Sisterhood, where they cover their face with their hands, and the eyes on the back of their hands stand in for their real eyes, I guess, and then it allows them to realize the future. So it looks pretty creepy, I guess.
Yeah. And so this other soothsayer arrives, and I don't remember his name, but then they have like a soothsayer off.
Yeah, this is Lucius Dexterus or something.
Yeah. And they have like a rap battle for soothsayers where they're trying to find out the most information about the Doctor and Donna, and combined, they reveal that the Doctor's name is the Doctor, and Donna's Donna Noble, and Donna's from London, and the Doctor's from Gallifrey, and he's the last of the Time Lords.
Right. I mean, as soon as this guy walked in, I was like, whatever. This is going to be just not gibberish, but he's not going to have any actual like future reading ability. And then he's like, "You're the Doctor, and you're from another planet," or something like that.
And the Doctor's like, "How do you know that?"
I mean, this is a semi-historical story, which we haven't gotten a really long time.
But we had...
I mean, there were ones that were...
The Shakespeare one.
We had the Shakespeare one, we had the Charles Dickens one, but even those were just like, they incorporated...
They weren't about a specific event.
Yeah, they were just about a specific
person.
So this harkens back more to like the first Doctor era, where it was actually like about a specific event. I mean, of course they bring in aliens, whereas like if this was a first Doctor story, it would just be some political intrigue thing about this era.
Yeah, kind of like that time the first Doctor burned down. What was it?
Yeah, what was it?
What was the city that burned down? Another city in Rome.
Was it Rome itself?
It might have just been Rome itself.
I think it was Rome itself. And he also destroyed Pompeii, apparently. And that's one thing, I know we've mentioned this before, but that's one thing that's always not bothered me, but just felt a little off about Doctor Who, is that a lot of important events were either caused directly or indirectly by this one guy.
Yeah, but I mean, the longer he keeps living, the more likely it is that those events will be caused by him.
I guess.
So...
I mean, they bring up the fixed point in time thing in this more so than they ever have before. They've touched on it before, but this is, again, one of the first times they've sort of really done a dive into it. So, Anyway, we find out that Lucius Dexterus has ordered the creation of, because Caecilius is a marble worker or something.
Yeah, like a marble seller carver.
Right, and the reason, the Doctor's excuse, and he uses the psychic paper here. He tells Caecilius that he's a marble inspector.
And they're like, but we're not ready for an inspection. We weren't expecting this. And he's like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm just curious about this blue box in the corner
It's
here.
like, it seems to be made of wood. And they're like, oh, God, no, it's marble. No.
He's like, I just got that. It's not for sale.
But Dexterus has ordered, I was kind of unclear about this. He's ordered the creation of these marble slabs that look like
it's like
computer
a circuit.
chip type things.
Yeah, so the even night falls over Pompeii.
A really flowery way of saying it.
So the Doctor and Caecilius...
Oh, we didn't mention that this is the day before the eruption.
Yeah. So Caecilius' son and the Doctor go and break into Dexterus' house or whatever. And
yeah, because the Doctor finds Dexterus really...
suspicious.
And I don't know, I mean, obviously I don't know Latin. I guess it's not obvious, but I don't. and like Lucius Dexterus, that name just means like quick light, doesn't it?
I don't know Latin at all. You know more than me.
But anyway, it's kind of funny how the Doctor gets Caecilius' son to go help him, because the son is just like doing nothing, just sitting there on the couch, and the Doctor's like, you gotta go help me figure out what Lucius Dexterus is up to. He's like, nah, I'm not coming. So the Doctor does a little coin trick. He pulls a coin out behind the guy's ear, which we haven't seen the Doctor do any like magic or coin tricks for a really long time.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, all right, I'll help you. So
and he's like, okay, wow, you're a magician. I'll help you.
I think he did it for the money, but yeah.
So the Doctor climbs into the guy's window, and the son just kind of stands there, and he's like, screw it, and climbs into the window as well. And then the Doctor finds the like circuit contraption, and then the son's like, wow, he told Caecilius that he was making the only one. And the Doctor's like, yeah, well, obviously he's going to get multiple slabs from different marble cutters.
He was lying through his teeth.
Yeah, because he's like, you gotta hide your trail, right? You gotta get it from different people. That way nobody's built the whole thing, so nobody knows what you're making. They've all only built one part.
Yeah. That's also kind of dangerous in case they like don't all fit together, or I don't know. But anyway, the guy who plays Lucius Dexterus, I want to say I've seen him in other. He's really good, and he's a good actor. I want to say I've seen him in other things, but every time I say that, I haven't seen the person in other things, and I'm just making that up.
Well, I mean, I can give you the actor's name. His name is Phil Davis.
Yeah, that helps.
Great. He had to have the like most nondescript name in existence. Meanwhile,
he's really good.
This is all going on. Donna's talking with Caecilius' daughter.
Evelina, something like that.
Her name is Evelina.
Yeah. Just read Evelina by Francis Burney. That was a chore, but...
Never heard of it. Unsurprisingly, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty famous novel from like the 18th century, so if you're into that kind of thing, then you would read it, and I'm not, but I read it anyway, because I had to, but... it's kind of like Pamela. I'm sure you've heard of Pamela. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Although I think I've only heard of it because of you, so...
That's more surprising because that one's pretty famous, but
yes, Donna's talking with her and is like, you guys got to get out of town. You guys got to get out of town. You guys got to get out of town. The volcano's going to blow tomorrow, because she's asking Evelina if she saw anything about tomorrow, and Evelina's like, no, it was tomorrow's special. And I knew that was going to happen. And Donna is like, you got to get out of town. Pompeii is going to be buried in lava. You're all going to die. And she's like, no,
Death
false
and destruction
prophecy.
will rain from the sky tomorrow.
False prophecy. And she like contacts the sisterhood, and she's like, false prophecy.
Telepathically, not she doesn't like call them up, or she doesn't like go there.
I mean, she kind of calls them up. It's like the ancient Rome version of calling them up. Put your hands over
only
your
a
eyes.
few people can do. We didn't mention the scenes with the sisterhood so far. They have a leader. I forget what her name is. The high priestess or something. She's in the room with them, but she's behind this sort of veil.
Yeah.
And no one's allowed to look upon her. And they sort of have these convenings or whatever, where
These just meetings where they just hang out and predict the future.
Yeah. And we also didn't mention the scene where the doctor sort of convenes with Caecilius and finds out that 17 years ago there was a big earthquake, and soon after that was when all the prophecies started being accurate. The doctor's like, that's a little suspicious, and Caecilius is like, nah, it's not.
And then the doctor's like, you didn't think about leaving town when there was that massive earthquake that destroyed your entire house? Because Caecilius is like, we rebuilt our house. And the doctor's like, you didn't think of leaving? He's like, nah.
But the doctor also realizes that the seers are inhaling the dust of Vesuvius, which can't be good for you.
Yeah. So the doctor's like, yeah, they're inhaling this dust, which is literally rock grains. They're literally inhaling rock grains. So,
which is how they all die. So, I mean, I don't know.
Not yet, though.
Well, not in a day. I mean, most people actually eat rocks. I mean, everyone eats salt, basically, and that's a rock. But people also, eat minerals and stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty sure directly inhaling them isn't good for you. Especially because it's giving them supernatural powers.
Hey, supernatural powers are awesome. They never come with any side effects whatsoever. You just become a superhero with no side effects. Bruce Banner got blasted with gamma radiation, and instead of developing cancer like everybody else has been blasted with gamma radiation at that level, he became the Hulk, so...
Incredibles 2 trailer came out like yesterday or 2 days ago, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's any indication, then superpowers are never a danger to society, never come with any repercussions or anything.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't the point of those movies that, like... When they banned
super,
when they banned supers, everything got way worse.
I don't remember. I haven't watched Incredibles in years.
Okay, well, anyway, the doctor gets confronted by Lucius, and Lucius is like, well, you're a pretty smart man, but I'm going to kill you now. And the doctor just grabs Lucius's arm that's been covered by this toga and pulls it off, and it's like stone. And the doctor's like, that's weird.
The doctor asks to see his arm, and he just doesn't respond. And the doctor just grabs it, and it's stone. We also didn't mention that Lucius speaks in like proverbs.
Yeah.
But I guess they're ancient Roman proverbs, or ones that they just made up for the show.
Or ones that he's getting from the future, because there's the one that he says that the doctor completes for him, that the doctor recognizes.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't recognize any of these proverbs, so... Yeah.
So... what happens then is I am forgetting what happens next. The doctor runs away, and he goes back to Caecilius' house, and Donna's not there, but... before he realizes that Donna's not there, this lava monster comes out of the hot springs and attacks them. The doctor's like, what the hell?
Right, because Caecilius has, he has a pond-type thing in his house. That's just a separate thing, which was kind of cool, I guess.
He's also got some hot springs, though.
Yeah, he has... It was kind of weird. It was like sort of a vent-type thing, because they say that the Roman hot springs don't compare to... Or there's some dialogue. He says like the Roman baths don't compare.
The plebs have like boiled water, but he's got hot springs or something like that.
So this lava beast comes out of it. Looks kind of like the Rock Titan from the Hercules movie.
Looks kind of like the
not the 3-hour
monster
1940s one.
the monster in the first Thor movie. Anyway,
it looks really good. The CG work is really good. It helps that it doesn't move that much, so because it kind of just stands still. It's rock encrusted, I guess. It has magma on the inside.
Yeah.
It's hotter on the inside. But the doctor... Actually, no, Caecilius' son takes a big jug and pours water on it, which stops it in its tracks, makes it fall apart, kills it, I guess. And they're like, wow, that was weird. And they all kind of just ignore it and forget about it, except for the doctor.
Well, the doctor tells the son to go get water, And he does, and that's how they end up killing it, because it's made of lava. So when he pours the water on it, it like solidifies into solid rock, so it can't move anymore. Kind of like how the weeping angels become rock when people are looking at them, so they can't move anymore.
Right. But I mean, unlike the weeping angels, this thing is like dead. So
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Doctor's like, that was weird, wasn't it, Donna?
Donna?
Donna! Okay, no.
Then we smash cut to Donna lying on a rock slab, and she's like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Yeah, she's chained to this sort of slab, and she's about to be sacrificed. The sister in charge, I guess, not the high priestess, but sort of the leader of the non-high priestess sisters, has a knife to her throat. And Donna's like, yeah, you're not going to kill me if you know what's good for you. I don't know where Donna thinks she's getting the ability to talk so big in this situation, but...
I mean, you have two options when someone's holding a knife to you like that. Like, roll over and submit or fight. And, well, Donna's doing the best fighting she can, considering her arms and legs are tied to the slab.
I guess, but, I mean, it's okay because the doctor comes in, and as always, he's like, just wait a minute, guys, just wait a minute. And they listen.
Well, they listen because he pulls out his sonic screwdriver and undoes the ropes with the sonic screwdriver. Right. And they're like, what magic is this? And he's like, powerful magic or something like that. And they're like, I guess we'll listen to this weird dude who just walked in here with a magic stick.
So the doctor tries to inquire about what's going on, and he gets an audience with the high priestess, who pulls aside the veils for the first time in the story, and you see that her entire body is almost totally rock.
Yeah, the doctor says that he knew a Sybil and that she was a great dancer, but then he also says that the person who founded their cult, I guess, would be super displeased with how the cult is acting now, killing people, basically. And also, apparently, this is an all-female cult, because when the doctor comes in, the leader of the non-high priests is like, only females are allowed in the cult of the Sibylline, or whatever. The doctor's like, yep, nothing but us ladies here.
Yeah, which I guess is foreshadowing for the 13th Doctor. I mean,
they really definitely didn't have that planned out this far in advance. So the doctor talks with the high priestess and is trying to figure out what creature he's dealing with, right? He's trying to figure out what's going on here.
There was a really weird and out-of-place line of dialogue where the doctor basically, this is before, when he was still in Caecilius' house, he basically turns to the camera and goes, well, if there's aliens in Pompeii, I'm glad we didn't just leave.
Yeah.
And that was sort of unnecessary, in my opinion.
Well, because Donna keeps asking him to save the people in Pompeii because he knows that it's going to blow up, right? And he's talking about how it's a fixed point in time and how they already know it's going to blow up. He can't change that.
Yeah, that's a little later, but we can just explain it now.
I mean, he alludes to it throughout the story. Yeah. He doesn't really hit you with the big explanation until later. But he alludes to this idea that he can't change this event because they already know how the event plays out. The wiki refers to it as the destiny trap, which apparently is a common thing in time travel, where how you, in certain interpretations of time travel, where if you know the outcome of the event, you can't change the event. And this is like one of those instances, since both the doctor and Donna know that Pompeii gets destroyed and everyone dies, they can't intervene and change that.
Yeah, well, the doctor tries to find out what alien he's dealing with this week, but the high priestess isn't telling him. She's basically being taken over by the being that's sort of...
Well, she does eventually tell him, and he doesn't recognize it. He's just like, well, I guess that's what you look like, because I had never seen you before in my life.
Well, first she's like, unlimited power or something like that, but then she reveals that they're the Paraveil, so Ace's hometown. No. They're actually I don't know what they were actually called. Again, should have looked it up, but it sounded really similar to Paraveil.
I think it is Paraveil. Pyroviles.
Pyroviles.
Mm-hmm. Well, close enough. We almost had it.
So yeah, the Pyroviles. Not the strongest of villains, but they worked.
Yeah. I mean,
not the most memorable in design, basically.
I mean, you'll remember them because they look like rock. That's basically all.
I mean, the Ood were better. They come back next week.
True. Yeah. But the Ood a lot of money was put into the design because it was a two-parter. This is just a one-parter. This is just designed to introduce Donna, basically, essentially. So the Doctor and Donna run away from the Sibylline sisterhood because they're trying to kill them. The Doctor like pulls out a water gun. He's like, I'm armed. And then the Sisterhood looks into the time rift, I guess, and they're like, it's harmless. And the Doctor's like, yeah, but it's gonna sting. And he shoots the High Priestess with it. And she's like, I'm melting. I'm melting.
Anyway, they go into the catacombs.
Yeah, the Doctor and Donna run into the catacombs, which apparently connects straight to Mount Vesuvius.
Yeah, I was wondering how they didn't just like burn themselves alive by going into like this underground area beneath the volcano.
Well, the Doctor mentions that the pyrovials, are drawing the heat out of the volcano.
Right. Well, they go into the volcano. This isn't a little bit. They go into the sort of this volcano chamber, which would definitely just kill them. But I guess they're just fine. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, so like I said, the pyrovials are drawing the heat out of the volcano. So this is explained in a little bit, not right now, but basically the Doctor explains that Vesuvius isn't going to explode because all the heat is being drawn off by the pyrovials, and they're going to use that to re-energize themselves, I guess.
Yeah, and take over the world. That's a big part of their plan.
Yeah,
but the Doctor, this is where the Doctor explains the fixed points in time thing and how he can't go back and save his own people, which is because I guess of the fixed points in time, and also because they were like locked into some sort of time loop type
It's like
thing.
a time lock. You're not allowed to time travel into the time war. The time lock is a very vaguely explained concept, and it should really remain that way, because when you try to really wrap your head around time locking an event, it doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, it makes sense in the context of like what it prevents the Doctor from doing, right? He can't go back and fix it. It's a time. I mean, he has the ability to time travel, so first thing that pops into your head is, why can't he just go back and stop the time war or make things different? Or, and one is the fixed points in time, and two is because, well, he just can't go back there. So it does what it needs to do.
Yeah, but I mean, once you start to really try to unravel it, it's like, well, why can't he go back there? Because like, the time war has raged throughout all of time, right? So we should be seeing it on the show right now, right? Because it's time travel. So when you get down to that level, it's like time law. It starts to unravel, which is why it should remain a vague concept.
I mean, all right. I didn't know it was waged through all of time. Thanks for the spoiler there, but
it's a time war.
Well, I mean, I didn't know why it was named the Time War. could be anything. I mean, it could have just taken like a short amount of time.
The 3 days war.
But yeah, Donna's having none of it. She's like, no, we got to save them.
And the Doctor's like, well, so okay, first Lucius confronts them and they like lock themselves in the control room.
Well, there's like snooping around. They're hidden really badly behind a rock. I don't know why they thought this was a good hiding place. There are a bunch of pyrovials in here too. But obviously they're seen because their hiding place is so bad.
Yeah.
But they get into this chamber that has a control mechanism.
Mm-hmm. And the Doctor basically...
Lucius also reveals that the pyrovial's home planet has been... He doesn't actually explain what's happened to it, but it's gone. They can't go back there. And Earth is the perfect place for them to be, I guess.
Yeah. So the Doctor and Donna get locked into the control room. And the Doctor basically realizes that they have a choice to make, that either they have to kill everybody in Pompeii to save the world, or they save everybody in Pompeii, but then the pyrovials are going to kill them anyway because they're going to take over the world. And Donna's like, that's not fair. And the Doctor's like, that's the choice we have to make.
So they eventually decide to play things out as they, happened, Pompeii, and destroy Pompeii. Mm-hmm. They have a button that destroys Pompeii in the room.
Yeah, because it releases all the energy that the pyrovials have stored up, which results in Vesuvius erupting.
All right, and the Doctor and Donna both press it. Donna now responsible for the deaths of 20,000 people.
Yeah, but unavoidable, I guess, because if they hadn't pushed it, the whole world would have died. I guess they looked at it as a straight numbers game, which, whether that's right or wrong, is a debate for somewhere else. But I think they set up the situation in this story pretty cleverly.
Yeah, they do, and it's also with the realization at the end that like the Doctor is the one who does this, and he has to make this choice. But I mean, it's not necessarily a straight numbers game, because it's make these people suffer for however long it takes for them to die, or potentially make a bunch of people around the world suffer for a much longer time, possibly.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but. Yeah, they press the button, and then Pompeii starts erupting, and I don't know if this is not that it matters because it's a TV show, it's a story, so you want to make it better to fun to watch, but I'm pretty sure Pompeii was just destroyed in like seconds because when volcanoes erupt violently, they just engulf everything within seconds, and like things like lava flows, lahars, whatever, smoke clouds can travel in like hundreds of miles an hour and just engulf everything.
Yeah.
And Pompeii was like right there. But it's fine. It's a TV show, like I said before. So we get a bunch of shots of the Doctor and Donna running through the city. We didn't mention that they were launched, but there's this
escape pod. They thought they were going to die.
Right.
That was also one of the things the Doctor's like, if we decide to destroy Pompeii, we'll probably die as well. And Donna's like, okay, I'm okay with that. Not a bad way to go.
Yeah. So, but they're in this escape pod, which was produced by Max Capricorn Industries or whatever, because it's just impervious to everything, and they land somewhere far away.
Yeah. So they run to the town, and they run to Caecilius' house, and he's like, Doctor, save us. And the Doctor kind of looks at him and then runs into the TARDIS and starts dematerializing, and Donna's like, no, no.
There's some scenes where they run through the streets, and Donna's like, hey, you guys got to get out, and the Doctor's just trying to get back to the TARDIS.
Yeah, because Donna's trying to tell them if they run to the hills, they'll survive, but if they run down to the beach, then they'll get engulfed in the lava. And, I don't know how accurate that is to the true events that played out at Pompeii.
I mean, it's not, because recently, and by recently I think I mean like within the last like 15 or 20 years, they unearthed some more stuff from Pompeii and found these like perfectly preserved bodies, which would only like happen if they were basically blasted by debris and stuff within, I don't know the specifics of it, but if they were blasted by like the debris and the smoke and ash within like seconds.
Yeah.
Which is true to like what actually happens with violent volcanic eruptions, where everything's just engulfed in seconds. But again, it's a TV show. You want to add some drama, want to fill out your runtime, and want to make it interesting. So
yeah. So they get back to the house. The Doctor goes into the TARDIS, like I said. He dematerializes. Donna runs in, and then she basically chastises him for not saving anyone.
He gives him a firm slap on the wrist, and
the Doctor's like, what do you want me to do? We just killed 20,000 people. And she's like, save someone, anyone, I don't care who, just one person. And the Doctor's like, okay.
Yeah, this was a weird decision to me. I didn't think they were going to go down this route where the Doctor does go back and he saves Caecilius and
his family.
Didn't think that would happen.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if you had paused the episode at that point and asked me if he was going to come back and save anyone, I would have definitely said no. But he does, and they sort of the Doctor, Donna, and Caecilius and his family, sort of just watch Pompeii get destroyed from afar. Caecilius, I guess, invents the word volcano because he says the god Vulcan is involved in this somehow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because we forgot to mention that they keep blessing the house gods throughout the episode.
Right.
Which is, they have this little shrine where they just like sprinkle water on these castings, I guess, these carvings of these two gods. Multiple gods, actually. And so the Doctor tells them not to tell anyone that he was there. And he also explains that when the first earthquake hit 17 years ago, it created like a crack in the timeline, which is why all the soothsayers could see the future and became accurate, because they were tapping into like the time stream.
Right, but now it's closed, so Evelina is free
to do whatever she wants, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really find out. There's an epilogue sort of thing where we find out what the brother is doing. We don't really, I think, find out what Evelina's doing, other than wearing what all the other Roman girls are wearing.
Yeah.
I also don't know how accurate of a portrayal this was of like an ancient Roman family.
I'm sure there's a lot of embellishment here.
Yeah.
A lot of, obviously, like modern family stuff introduced,
right,
like the whole, you're not wearing that when you go out and shit, but everyone's wearing it.
Which was fine. Yeah.
So the Doctor and Donna leave, and the Doctor's like, yeah, you're right, Donna, I guess I do need someone sometimes. Because the Doctor's just going to ditch everyone there, and Donna like implored him to save this one family.
Yeah, I didn't get why saving Caecilius and his family was a good decision, though. Because it's like, it's a fixed point in time. People were supposed to die. I guess saving these couple of people doesn't really change anything.
No.
But still, I don't know. I didn't get why it was supposed to be like a good thing in the context of the story. Other than these people living is good, I guess. But it was just a natural disaster that killed them, which is
but I think the thing is that they
but
caused it, though. The Doctor and Donna caused that natural disaster, right? And so the reason why Donna wants him to save someone, I think, is partially because she thinks the Doctor's getting a little reckless, because he comes in and she's like, well, we either kill them all or we kill the whole world. And Donna's like, what? And he's like running around being really reckless. And also he's like showing like a somewhat of a disregard for to Donna anyway, a disregard for human life, and she wants him to save someone because I guess to her, the Doctor saving someone would prove that he actually does care about people.
I guess. I mean, I just don't know why, as a viewer, I'm supposed to see this as a good thing, which I don't. So, yeah.
There's also foreshadowing of an episode later in the season when the soothsayers are talking. They mention that Donna has something on her back. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's that I noticed that, and I guess I kind of forgot about it, but it's not brought up anymore in this episode, at least.
No, it's foreshadowing.
Would be really disappointing if it wasn't brought up anymore in general.
No, you'll see.
It's just a spider.
So
but anyway, we get this sort of epilogue. 6 months later, Caecilius has moved to Rome, which they were talking about this before any of this ever, or like in the beginning of the story. They were talking about like going to Rome or not, whether they should or not. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Seem to remember something like that. But yeah, we find out that the son is studying to become a doctor. I guess inspired by the Doctor, who's not really like a medical doctor.
But also at the same time, he's like, I'm not really a doctor yet. I'm just a student of physical sciences.
Yeah, like, right, which is not a term they would have ever used for a doctor.
I mean, you can get a doctorate in physical sciences and then you'll be a doctor.
Well, I mean, that's now, but... I
don't know if that was true in ancient Rome.
Well, the word science, scientia, I mean, it just means like information or knowledge. Mm-hmm. Not knowledge, actually, not information, but yeah, that's all it used to mean. It just meant knowledge. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird touch, but yeah, I mean they're doing well, so I guess that's good. Their house looks almost exactly the same as the one that was destroyed in Pompeii.
Yeah, I gotta reuse that set somehow. They shot it from like a different angle. They moved like 10 degrees to the left and like, yep, good enough.
Anyway, they go and splash the water on the household gods, and they've now deified the Doctor and Donna in the TARDIS.
Yeah, this was kind of weird to me. I found it kind of weird that they were like, I guess the Doctor and Donna are gods because they saved us with the time machine. The box is bigger on the inside.
Maybe demigods. I know the Romans believed, I think, in demigods because they basically stole their beliefs from the Greeks. So,
yeah, well, I just thought that was kind of weird that they would consider the Doctor and Donna gods.
Also, maybe we're just misinterpreting this because I don't think the Romans and ancient Greeks really thought of the gods in the same way as like but like religious people nowadays think of like God as like something to worship. They just thought of gods as like these beings that might kill them at any moment. So, gotta keep them pleased or whatever.
I guess, but their house gods now are the Doctor and Donna. I guess Maybe there's like that you choose who protects your house, I guess. Who's your house god?
Yeah, and you don't want any of the like lesser gods like Hermes or anything. No, I don't know.
Maybe if you have like a disagreement with your neighbor, your like house gods fight it out. So you want to make sure that your house god is pleased with you. So he like fights it out and wins. I don't know.
I mean, that's what a lot of, I don't know. That's what a lot of like conflicts. This is a separate society, separate place, but that's what a lot of conflicts in like the Old Testament are about. It's like, hey, our God's better than your God. And that's why in the Old Testament the Hebrews win so much, right? Because they're like, our God is God, the God, so we're gonna win, and they do. They win.
Wow, classic Old Testament, I guess.
Well, I mean that's what it's about.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't know a lot about the.
I mean, I'm just going into a complete tangent here, and because I guess I know something about this, and this is probably contentious for people who are really religious, but the Old Testament is just a rewriting of mainly this text called the Enuma Elish and some other Middle Eastern texts, but all the polytheistic gods are replaced with God as a way to say like, yeah, all this, it's a way to validate the text, or was a way to validate the text when it was first written, because it's a way to say like, yeah, all this stuff that people generally accept as being the creation of the world actually did happen, but it wasn't, all these polytheistic gods that you guys worship. No, it was our God. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
not that
I don't
it has
know much
much
about
to
it.
do. Not that it has much to do with this epilogue, but
Hey. And then, the Doctor tells Donna, welcome aboard, and thanks for keeping me sane, and then the episode ends.
The new series does this thing that the classic series never really did, where the companions aren't really companions when they first join until the Doctor does something. Like with Rose, it was like giving her the TARDIS key, And with Martha, I think it was, I don't remember what it was with Martha, but, here Donna, the doctor finally accepts Donna as a companion, which I don't know why they do this, because it kind of makes the stories before that happens seem a little, or in hindsight, they're like...
It makes it seem like there's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Because they did that with Adam, where they took Adam on his first trip and he completely bungled it, so the doctor just dropped him off and was like, nope. Right? So it makes it be like the doctor is like making sure that he picks the right people, which maybe you could go into it and be like, well, maybe that's a consequence of the time where his whole race died. He's alone, so he wants to make sure that the people he travels with are people he actually wants to be with, since he's alone.
Right. So I don't know. It just sort of puts a bad taste in my mouth about the stories that happened before it.
I mean, that's understandable, because it makes them kind of irrelevant, really, to the companion anyway, for the companion's character arc. Because they're not really a companion yet, and the doctor's just like, you're just helping me.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I don't think I would put it exactly like that, but sure, I don't want to dwell on this too much.
Anyway, pretty good episode in my opinion. And
right. Oh, I didn't mention the sound effect. I mean, it was just one thing, but I definitely took note of it when the doctor sort of, he does a sort of, he spins the water gun, and there's this sound effect where he goes, whoop, 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 and it's like really played up, so... I didn't think it was bad. I just like really noticed it and thought it was kind of funny. But I mean, other than that, the soundtrack in this was, again, really good, as it has been basically since Utopia, Sound of Drums, and Last of the Time Lords. So that's good.
And yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. We mentioned the sets, which were really cool. I really liked the costumes. Donna's costume was pretty cool. She got really like a purple toga about halfway through the story.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. And otherwise just a solid story. Solid start to series 4 so far.
Right.
You can email us at thedoctor@decorativevegetable.com. Questions, comments, concerns, angry rants, love letters, your thoughts on the 12th Doctor in Pompeii. You can find us on YouTube at Decorative Vegetable. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Google Play at Trust Your Doctor. Be sure to leave a rating if you like the show.
Check us out on Facebook, Trust Your Doctor. Like us on Facebook. Also check us out on Twitter at TYD Podcast, and follow us on Twitter. And next time we're watching Planet of the Ood. But until then, the end.